What's going on, guys? We are here back with another episode. I know you see this person right next to me, but before I introduce why she's here and the title, I do want to let everybody know that this specific episode is officially brought to you by, I'm going to let you say the name.
Diamond Eyes Designs. Yes.
There you go. I have the social distancing required from, I'm reading that all the way wrong. Hopefully y'all can see it.
You require more than 6 feet.
More than 6 feet. Anybody who knows me knows I've been social distancing way before it was popular. If I don't know you, give me 6 feet. This is fire, good quality. So if you purchasing it, you're not purchasing no. I wanna say that first and foremost. Good quality. It's comfortable. Summertime is perfect for it, and even if it's the wintertime, it's still perfect for it. I like to label certain things as fashion with a purpose, and I feel like this is actually one of those pieces. So yeah, man, the link is gonna be down below. Instagram, website, everything. Y'all do what y'all do when it comes to that supporting thing. Something I always preach. If you call whoever your family or friends, it's not hard to support. We do not ask for discounts. We do not ask for shorts. We pay what they ask for. That's what support is. When you go into these designer stores or whatever places you go to, you don't ask for no discounts. Nine times out of 10, they're not gonna give it to you. So why do that with the people you care about? Please support. Diamond Eyes Design. Everything will be down below, man. Now let's get into this episode. I go by the name of Desmond Bonet. I want to welcome you guys to the room where having a healthy mind is priority. This woman right here, I've known her for
almost 3 years. 3 years.
3 years, man. 3 years. If you've been on this channel for a while, then you're not new to that. All you gotta do is scroll all the way down. You'll see a few music videos with both of us, and you actually already know that we did a whole album together titled The Lovers Playlist, which is still available. I'll put that link down below as well. The world and most of you know her as Lena The Artist, but I had a great opportunity to have many great conversations with her. So the same way I know Selena, I want you guys to get to know Selena. Everything we do here has to do with just mental health, or more importantly, having a healthy mental. So I don't want to talk too much. I know how I am. I don't want to, bore y'all too much. I'm gonna let Selena talk a little bit, introduce herself properly, and then we're gonna dive into her life all the way up until now and talk about the amazing things that she's doing, and also the mental struggle and just how important it is to face your fears and what's the word I'm looking for? Not just face your fears, but deal with them head on. Mm-hmm. Just, no breaking, no slowing down, just realizing what your fear is, overcoming that fear, and being able to look that fear in the eye and say, yeah, I'm here. So without further ado, she's here, man.
Hi. I am Lena The Artist. Basically, I'm going to allow myself at this episode of The Room to let the world know. Selena. Growing up, I wouldn't say it was hard. Like, I didn't understand, like, the society, I guess, the place I was in society, they would expect me to, like, say I've had rough times, or there was times without, and I'm thankful for my mother, because it was like I haven't experienced that, thank God. I'm a project baby, I could say that. So I was born and raised, and that's a lot, that comes with a lot as well. Like, a lot of people think you guys are like, oh, you're unintelligent, you're incapable, you guys are all chasing the fairy tale dreams, and that's a lot to have on your shoulder. But I kind of felt like, again, it was trying times. So growing up, I didn't really have a clue about what I wanted to do. I was 8, and my sister and my cousins used to record nonstop. My sisters, my brothers, my cousins, and one day I was told to write. Fun fact, if you look back on our old interviews, I mentioned this embarrassing moment, but I wrote my first song ever was called Uptown Harlem. See, I was 8, and I didn't realize Harlem is already uptown. So so there was no need to have the Uptown and Harlem thing. But you know, I understand that now. And it was really bad. It was really, really bad. But you know, I used that moment when I was 8 to grow. There was time. So from 8 came 16. I was in a performing arts high school, and again, that it was so competitive. You know,
like what high school was that?
Manhattan Theater Lab. It phased out now though. It phased out. It phased out in 2015. 2015. But trust me, a lot of living legends went to that school. I could say that. But yeah, like in itself, we were all competing to be the best that we could. And at that time, to me, it was just education. So I fought hard to do right with that, and I made sure like I was the top of the class, A game and everything. Just because, again, where you come from in society, people view you a certain way. Okay, you just want to do music, that's what you want to do, but what else can you do? What else are you capable of? So I finished high school. That was where I got the touch of performing arts. But it wasn't until I graduated where I made my first song, which was called Be Alright. And I did that with my sister, and that was in like 2015. And you know, I don't know, I look back and I always tell myself like I wish I had the mindset I have now in 2015, because at the time it was a big gap. It was like a huge gap, because technically when you look on Apple Music and everything, the Lovers playlist is the only thing up, and that was 2018. So acknowledging your fears and just doing it. My sister said that one time, and I think like I've acknowledged my fears and I allowed myself to sway from them. So from 2015, I went to college, and it was the whole, I mean, I loved it. I loved the experience.
College you went to, if you want to.
Yes, I went to St. John's University. I graduated in last year, May, which is 2019. And I don't regret that. But I do feel like I could have, like, I'm all for being humble, but I'm too quiet. And I felt like I was there for 4 years, but this is like a highlight. I would say, I think I was 16. I did my first talent show, like a big one. And it was a lot. Like, again, that was a lot of facing your fears. And you know what pushed me at the time? Like, if you follow me on social media, you know how I take my Aunt Rose seriously. So what pushed me at the time was my niece was in the crowd at that time. And I was just like, oh, I got to go all out. Meanwhile, she's a baby. Like, a baby. But it was just the simple fact that I needed to go all out. And I think that's where I realized, like, that's when you realize, like, oh shit, like I have a drive. Like, can you curse me? Like, oh shit, like I have that drive, and that's something that I really wanted to partake in. And then, you know, you get lost. So at 16, from there, I just got lost. I did my last talent show in high school when we graduated. That was dope. Got lost. Like, it was like 2015 was the start. My sister and we did Be Alright. I was working with my friend at the time, Remedy. We did a song called Our Future. That was like me breaking it slowly, but it wasn't there yet. Like, it was just still me fighting something. Like, it was still a wall up. Then, of course, I run into Desmond on Instagram, right? And all BS aside, like, I really feel like I hope he doesn't think I'm lying. I listened to his work when he followed me on Instagram. And I was like, oh, I like two songs, which was on his recent project. And it was I Want You and Drugged. And he wrote me like, can you write a remix to Drug? Yeah. You know how...
Those was my fault to cut you off. Those were my first 2 attempts at, like, I guess trying to fully do a whole singing record. I Want You, I feel like, is like my only R&B song.
What?
I Want You and Drug was like...
Drug, yes. You were singing. You were singing in Drug. You were singing in I Want You, but I don't feel like that's the only R&B. You mean like out of all your projects?
Yeah, like
I do feel like you were more, yeah.
Like a full one song. Like that song, I don't know who I thought it was.
I actually love that song. So when he asked me, I wouldn't lie. Like, it all ties in. Like, I was on a bus going to St. John's, right? And I was there. I was on the bus. I wouldn't forget it. It was It's been a while. I want to take a guess and say the Q46. And I got that text message. Like, I remember it. And I was just like, yo, that's dope. Like, I really love that song. So when he was like, remix it, I literally was on the bus like this. Like, okay, I got you. I finished it right then and there. And I sent it. He was like, that's fire.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna tell you, and this is something I've always told her. It's probably the first time I'm saying it on camera, but that I already had the idea to do an album with a woman specifically because I had this whole storyline in my head since I think I was like 17 when I first came up with it. But at the time, the people I was around just wasn't receptive to that, so I held on to it for a while. I tried with somebody else. Much love to her. Didn't really work out that well, but she was featured on one of my albums. I came across. I forgot even how I followed it, but I came across the post, and it's a song that she still ain't It's a song. I don't even know the name of it, but it's a Michael. I'm gonna just say It's a Michael Jackson sample, and it's so fire. Like I'm not even saying this because we on here. I told her this a million times. Like it's
Many
fire.
times.
You need to put it out. But I heard that and the video on IG. I noticed, oh, that's the studio I go to. So I reached out to my engineer at the time. He said, yeah, she comes to the studio. She really can sing. So it was like my little test. I'm like, you like this song, so do a remix to it. Let's see how it goes. I didn't even like bombard her with the idea of doing a full album. It was just, all right, do that. Instantly, she sent it back. Fire. And what really impressed me was the day of the studio. I work a certain way when I'm involved in music. I just work a certain way. I don't like a million people around. I can't focus. I can't try to do what I'm doing. There's a million people around. I've never been one of the people that like to go to the studio and have a party. So when she showed up with one person, just her cousin, and it was straight to work. It wasn't no bullshitting. It wasn't no procrastinating because she was nervous. Nah, went straight to work, killed it. It was fire. If I'm not mistaken, I think that day I brought up the idea.
Yes.
And then we just started.
Yes.
Started going.
So basically, to tie into like the fear part, that was one of my main fears. Always featuring and feeling like I was going to do bad on a track. So like most of my from college on, I was featuring. I have so many features. Like you'll see Lena the Artist on a whole bunch of features. And it was just like, damn, where's like the project? Like where's the solo work? And before I even did the solo work, it was accomplishing so we went from Drugged to I Want You to the Lovers playlist. And even that was fearful. Why? Is because it's like, it's not just solo work. I can be my own judge to my solo work. I can say, yeah, Lena, that's good. That wasn't, I was so scared. I was so scared. Like, it was like everything. Like, even in the studio, it was just like, of course, I'm not going to show it and I'm not going to freeze. Like, I feel like that's so unprofessional. It kills time. Like, time is money. We were on time. Like, it's hard. Like, it was really nerve-wracking. From the Lovers playlist, I gained a lot of, I wouldn't say a following from there. Like, it was just like, oh, she's really taking singing seriously. Oh, like, oh my gosh, you guys sound amazing. Oh my gosh, this is different. Oh my gosh, like, it was really good. That was the first time I took it. Like, that's my first, let me just say, like, that's my first project on Apple Music. Like, I've recorded songs since 2015. Which you might not have no track of if you don't have SoundCloud. Like, you would have to go on SoundCloud to type in my name to find old songs. And they're old, like from 2015 to 2018. Then boom, again, fears. Even after the Lovers playlist, it was I was fearful, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what's next? And it took me another, 2 years? So my next single after the Lovers playlist was I Tried. And
link will be down below. Please click it, play it. I'm not even just saying it is good R&B, it's good music.
I Tried was, and again, even within those 2 years, I've recorded so much, so many songs. but it was, I tried really resonated with me, and I felt like it could resonate with a whole bunch of other people that could relate, that have been there, that have been trying. And like, it does sound like it's a love song, but even outside of that song, it was like, nah, a lot of people could sit down and look at certain situations and be like, damn, I tried though. Like, and that was my concept and my purpose behind it. Now, I'll give you the background work of that. Like, how did I feel doing all of this? I did mention, like, during the Lovers playlist, I was somewhat scared, just a little bit. Doing I Tried was my first solo, I want to say stunt, that I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to put it out. But I was very impulsive with the track. I recorded it June 7th. I put it out June 10th. I wasted no time because it was like, I know the normal me in my head was just be like, just wait. Yeah, just wait. I have so many singles that I've had that I just waited on, especially the one he's talking about. And it's called All For You with the Michael Jackson sample. Fire. You won't get it. But
yo, it's fire, and it shows off. It shows, I don't know the technical term when it comes to R&B, but the note that she hit and how she hit it, that's what let me know, all right, I need her on this project. One of my favorite songs on the Lovers playlist is It'll Get Better. Oh, yes. Because in her verse, she hits one of them notes, and I love R&B. If y'all don't know that, I love R&B. I just can't sing. So
he can sing. Oh man, no! Don't have me on the episode and say you can't sing. He can sing. I seen it firsthand, and it's not no studio magic. He can sing. He just look. That's a fear. He has to work and accomplish it. He can sing. Okay, right? So like, even with It'll Get Better, I've heard that song and I pause and be like, that ain't me. Like I would be so scared, but it was just, all jokes aside, you made it very comfortable to do the songs. Like, Desmond made it comfortable to work with him, to do performances that we did. But I was nervous as heck. And most of our performance videos came out really dope, but I was nervous as hell. He made it, it's all about the people you surround yourself with. Your fears, yes, they're singly for that individual. Not everybody shares the same fears. But what makes a fear harder to accomplish are the people you surround yourself with. Luckily for me, like, it wasn't, I don't have the story where, I had a whole bunch of people that doubted me. I've had friends in my circle at a time that doubted me. But as far as family, like, it was always, my sister was on it. My mother was on it. My cousin, he just said, I done dragged her ass to many studio sessions. Shout out to Tyra. But it was just like, I dragged her to everything. And she was just like, okay, do this. Okay, do that. Okay, nah. Like, you could redo this. And I've respected all my cousins, my mom, my sister, my family. Like, like my main intermediate family. Immediate. But like, they've always been on me with music. So why was I scared? It was all within myself. It was always like, well, there's another R&B singer out there. Like, you allow your doubts to consume you. And I've done that. If you don't pay attention, 2015, 2018, 2020, it was just like, in between then, it was me. Like, it was my own mind.
You realize that it was really you holding yourself back versus
anybody else. You won't hear me say, this person hold me back, or the lack of support held me back.
Let me stop you right there real quick. Everything she said, I wanna shine a light on it because it's very, very important. When it comes to everything we do here, it's always going to coincide with having a healthy mental. When it comes to the things that we strive to do and the goals that we set out for ourselves, sometimes we fall victim to paying attention to what we think others are supposed to contribute to that. So then we start to think like that. This person is holding me back. I would have been further if you would have never did this. Or, it's just a whole timeline and a whole train of thought that kind of happens with that. And everything she said was super important because she got to a place where she realized, nah, none of these people held me back. It was my fears, me having doubts, me feeling like I wasn't good enough, if I can say that.
No, yeah.
Just feeling all of those things, man. So I want y'all to take a lot out of everything she's saying because that's a big thing that I not only see on the daily, but we see it all around us. There's some successful stories that have that in the beginning of it. And I'm not saying that they're not right to have that in their story, but sometimes the way you think about it is not really the way it is in reality. You know, I pride myself on being a realist. I'm not really I guess I would say I'm an optimist with some things, but I'm 100% a realist. I look at everything for exactly what it is, and I take what I need out of it. And that's a very very important thing, because there's a lot of people that walk around with that, and they carry it on their shoulders. They really walk around as if the whole world is against them. And I know we can dive deep into that with just everything that's going on, but I just want to, keep it with music or just anything that you're trying to do, whether it's a passion that you're super in love with, a goal, a daily goal that you set out for yourself. At the end of the day, we are in charge of not only how we react, but how we think.
Mhm.
If you start thinking in a more, if I want to say positive, but I want to say in a more alpha state of mind, and that's not just men. You have alpha men, and you also have alpha women. If you start thinking with a more of, not that you need to do this, but you're gonna do this. If you start thinking like that, it'll allow you to put the action to the plan to kind of, you know, do and accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So I just wanted to highlight that, man. A lot of the times it's not nobody around us. We all have a million stories about family and friends not supporting or not posting things, and we could go on about all of that. But at the end of the day, it's really about you and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I made it a point to anybody I worked with. I always pay attention to character. Character is very, very important. If I feel like you got a genuine character, you're not being fake, then it becomes a priority to me to make sure whenever I'm around, the vibe is comfortable, everything is good. That way the creativity can easily flow without any issues. So my bad. I know I go on rants.
It's
like
all
that,
needed though. Like it is, because again, it is all about the vibe, and it's not only going to the studio to turn up. And I'm not saying most artists that do that are any different. Like, nah, it's the same thing, but it's just like working with you. And I'm not just saying that because you're here either. Like, I feel like most of the time when you give people compliments, they'll be like, it's because I'm singing. No, like, it was really a breeze. We had 12 songs, and all the time it was like a nonstop, like a texting thing or audio sending. And it was just like, oh, I got this idea. Oh, I got this idea. Like, I loved telling this one story, and it might go off a little off track, but it was just like how winning came about. How winning started wasn't how winning is. And literally, it was just off of us going back and forth, Desmond sending this, and I was like, yay, and then I was like, nay, and it was honesty. Mm-hmm. That's what counts. Like, I've always been, and maybe even still, somebody was honest, I would just be like, you just lying too. But it's like, it was always honesty and like the vibe that made it so easy. Like Desmond would be like, nah, you don't sound good with that one, or fix this one, or maybe change a word in this. Like, that's what you need, honesty. Like, and going based off, like, again, on like the whole support thing, it was me. Like, I can't ever sit here, and it's not even me just fabricating anything because we're recording. Like, it was really me. Like, anytime I stopped doing music, it was me. It was my doubts. It was the doubts I had. It was I didn't feel good enough. It was everybody else is doing it. What's going to make me special? But you're supposed to, if you're watching this, you're supposed to already go in your head, you're special. Because even if you have a twin or whatever, like, you're special. You have a certain number to you. You have an identity to you. Not everybody else has that. Like, it doesn't matter what you put into the world creatively, you're a doctor, anything, you're special. There's 100 million, like 1,000 nurses and doctors out there, but you're special. Like, you have to tell yourself that. And it's not, what I used to tell myself is, that's me being cocky. That's me being cocky. But sometimes it's your actions that make cocky a bad thing. Mm-hmm. But you always should mentally be cocky. You should wake up and tell yourself you're the shit. Nobody's going to stop you. And it's not you being full of yourself or you think you're somebody's less than. No, you just think you're the shit. Like, you're not selling anybody short. No, that person next door isn't less than you, and you're not showing it. As long as you don't show it, You're not supposed to walk out your door and be like, my shit don't stink, but yours do. Nah, just keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself. Like, yo, you are the greatest at whatever you put your foot forward to. And it took me years. I said I wrote my first song at 8. I did my first talent show at 16. That was 8 years. I did my first song in 2015, but my first project came out in 2018. That was 3 years. Like, it took me until now to understand. And I got my doubting moments, don't get me wrong. But I override it with anything I put my best foot forward to, I'm going to do great at. Even if, God forbid, I fall flat on my face, I tried. So it's like, I tried my best.
That's important too, because I could, go back to doing this show. I've had the idea for a while, but procrastinated. I have about 4 episodes that's y'all would never see, but like just me practicing.
My song, that song, I was like,
just me practicing on the camera, going through the motion, feeling stupid, talking to the camera by myself, just going through all of those. But once you just actually do it,
it makes a big difference.
Big difference, man. This is a conversation that I had with somebody actually recently. If you fall in love with the process, then the end goal is always gonna end in the result that you wanted. If you fall in love with the process, a lot of the times we do things just for the end goal. I want to do this because I know it's gonna give me money. I want to do this because I know it's gonna get there. Which is cool because we have to do what we have to do in order to do what we want to do. But if there's a way to mix the two, which at I don't want to say my age because I keep playing like I'm older and I'm not. I'm turning 21.
Damn, we lying to the people now. Damn, it first starting is accepting. So that's the first step. He's not turning 20.
I'm accepting that, although the universe says I'm turning 30, I decided I'm turning 21.
Over 21.
Feel young, I'm good, man. If you fall in love with the process, right? At this age that I'm at, and at this mental space that I'm at now, I try my best to combine the both. Because we hear that throughout life. You do what you have to do so you can be able to do what you want to do. Work hard so you can play hard. Cool. Go about those things as well. But it make no sense doing that if the work that you're doing or involving yourself in is leaving you miserable.
Yep.
So why not find something to where you fall in love with the process as much as you're looking forward to the love of what you want it to give to you? Now I can say this. I love sitting down and writing down ideas and figuring out who I'm going to speak to, how the conversation is going to go, or even just topics about myself. I love doing it now. Setting up the camera, trying to get the right lighting. It could be frustrating. I might curse a lot. But I fall in love with the process because I know as long as I love what I'm doing, the results that I want is inevitable.
Yep.
Going from 8 years old to her first song, to 16, her first performance, to 2015 having her first official song, 2018 her first official project, to now, and I'm gonna say this on camera, to now having her first official single that's leading into her solo project.
It is.
That just has, not a lot needs to be said. She just showed, the whole process of having the fear present,
right,
and knowing that is there, but working to be able to understand that fear is going to come with everything.
With everything. It's just all about what you do. You could live with your fear and stay in a bubble, or you could just pop that shit and then work with it. It's just, I've been in a bubble for so long that I put around myself, And again, even through the process, something Desmond said, you have to love the process. Me, I try to rush the process. So, and I know a lot of people, if you're guilty of this, please let me help you. Because you see where somebody else is doesn't determine where you're going. like it doesn't. And that was a lot, like that was my problem with everything. It would be, oh, this person's like 2 years younger than me. How they beat me? And it's like it doesn't matter. Like I'm Selena. I'm Lena the Artist. This process, it was probably because back then I wasn't sure yet. Back then I didn't know what I know now. So you would have threw me in with wolves and I would have gotten eaten up. Because it was just like I didn't have the mindset I do now. Do I wake up with doubt still to this day? Hell yeah. But do I allow myself to sit there maybe for like 5 to 10 minutes? But then when 10 minutes is over, I just gotta be like, all right, you can't do that. Like you can't. You cannot determine your success off of somebody else's rate, like how they're going in life. Not to hate, you don't know the longevity of that person. You don't know if that person knows the ropes and everything that they need to. You don't know what you have to learn beforehand to stay in that game long enough to be tough enough for that game. Within the past, what, since 16 years, if you would have threw me in there at 8, I probably would have cried. You would have threw me in at 16, possibly would have too. 2018, I was on, like, I was doing good with the Lovers playlist. Like I was like, nah, I got it right now. But now I'm all in. Like it's like I could find a way to have doubts. Like I had doubts. But I had to switch it up. I normally sit with tracks longer than 3 days. I released it in 3 days. And another thing that I did was people liked it, so I posted the snippet. I won't forget it. I posted the snippet and said, if this gets 100 likes, I'll release it. In the back of my head, I'm like, I ain't releasing this shit. It's not gonna get 100 likes. And guess what? It
got 100.
It did. It really did. So it was me, like simple things like that prove me wrong. And then it's like the faith, like, how could I explain this? You know, a lot of rappers have teams and their bros and other people around them. You cannot put your faith in the people around you thinking they're supposed to support. You cannot base what you do off of possible support you don't receive. That shouldn't stop you. Many times mentally that would stop me like, damn, they like that? It must be trash. No, it's just they don't like it. That's on them. You're gonna post it, you're gonna continue to do you. It's not, you shouldn't look for it. The main thing that a lot of people do is look for the justification or the, like, to be verified by somebody else. Don't do it. You gotta wake up and become, like, you have to feel confident in what you do. Once you do, that's it. You going, what Pop Smoke's album is? Shoot for the star, aim for the moon. That's it. You're going straight over there once you believe in yourself. And again, I didn't until now. I didn't. Like, I really didn't. I won't lie and say, oh, I always had this mindset. I didn't have this mindset at 16. I would have cracked. In 2015, I was dependent on, like, I was dependent on the response I was getting. And you never know. And it's not that the person doesn't support you, but you never know what type of time they on that you brought that to them at that time, that you just didn't get the right, like, response. You can't let that determine it, though. You have to feel confident in what you do. You have to know that anything you're working on that you touch is going to be gold, platinum, anything. And again, it took me a long time to get here. But that was my process. My main process was comparing others to my success. Different. Selling yourself short, telling yourself that you ain't do nothing in your life when you've done a lot. Don't sell anything you've done in life thus far short. It's all a process. And what else did I say? Oh, looking for that support in others. And of course, yes, it would be nice. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. But sometimes, sadly, you just might not get it. Don't kill yourself trying to find it. Just work until you'll get that. You'll get it. Whether it's not now or tomorrow or next week, you're going to get it. Trust me. But it's not for you to look for. It's not for you to stop your dreams for. And it's not for you to kill yourself over. You got to keep going because time don't stop. And I think that's what my problem was. I had to realize all these years later, like, shit, time ain't stopped for me. Like, this ain't 2015 no more. But can you imagine if I was sitting here at 2015, how far off I'd be? Like, it's all a process. Because then maybe if I was sitting here, I would have never met Desmond. The Lovers playlist probably would have never happened. Like, it's all these pieces. You got to put them together. It's your life. Your life isn't anybody else's. It's not supposed to be on anybody else's, like, schedule. you'll make it. You just gotta believe in it. That's it. Like, and I feel like that, like, that's just not with, it's not just with music. Like, for instance, something else I'm working on that you've heard are my t-shirts. And, you know, exactly, my social distancing tees.
More than 6 feet, yeah.
Listen,
more than 6
I think
feet,
no,
yeah.
everybody is letting that go over their head, but I heard Desmond explain it, and I'm like, he got it. The whole social distancing thing, I'm stressing, like, man, I'm antisocial. Before this, I needed more than it. Like, I needed my 6 feet, and now with this whole COVID, I need more than that. And it's like, that's how I felt. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. Socially, I'm trying to find it. I'm trying. But it's like, that came to mind. So it's a social distancing tee. I feel like it fits the times. I even made my own shirt. I was just, like, having fun with it. But the kickstart of it is, like, I had a fear. Like, I felt like everybody's making shirts. What's gonna make mine pop? Everybody's making shirts, but everybody needs different things. Not everybody wants to shop the same thing. And, you know, maybe my mindset is somebody else's. Great minds think alike. But I have to tell myself that I can grow from this as long as I stay on top of myself and I believe in myself. The minute I don't, the minute it fails. And I've seen that. The minute I don't is the minute it fails. Whether it be with music, whether it be with t-shirt making, whether it be with anything. In order for me to finish college for 4 years, I had to tell myself I could do it. Oh, because there was so many nights and days I thought I couldn't. But it was just like, it's that push. It's that drive.
Well, you just made me want to go to another point. You mentioned college real quick. Hold on. I don't know. This might be over and out. It's well worth it, man. You just mentioned college, and you just said in college, and it's hard work, and, you know, many days that you wanted to quit. That's what you said, right? All right. Perfect example, right? People are conditioned and comfortable with certain areas because you know for a fact what's coming at the end. Go to college, 4 years. You might not know what job you're gonna get, but you know for a fact you're gonna get that degree. You're gonna walk down the aisle. You know for a fact. So through the whole 4 years of working, that's what you're working toward because you know it's gonna happen. If you take that same drive, just take away the knowing factor, right? But take that same drive and apply that to what you want to do, and really, really dig into it and work hard, and, you know, just I'm gonna speak raw, just bust your ass and do every single fucking thing that you have to do. Then you'll see that everything you're doing is not only worth it, but you're gonna see the progression. You're gonna see the slow growth. Everything starts so slow. Everything has to start from the bottom. You have to plant seeds in order for anything to grow.
And that's a fact.
A lot of these trees that they import and they you know plant them because you want a tree that's already big. Let's really do the research and see how long those trees last. You have to plant from the very, very root. Even the root grows from something. Foundation grows from something. Once you take that drive, that ambition, that work ethic, that desire, that passion, and put it into whatever it is you want to do, then you're going to realize it worked because you wasn't sure. It worked because it wasn't a guarantee. It worked because you spent countless nights, countless days doing something that wasn't really a true guarantee for what you wanted. But being that you stuck to it, you worked, you did everything that you really needed to do. That's what's very, very important. A lot of people are very, very comfortable. And I used to be this way. And the reason why I speak the way I speak on this channel, I speak through experience. Everything that I'm speaking about is not me just researching topics and figuring out what to talk about. Everything that I speak about is things that I went through myself. Even when I'm sitting down with a guest, I make sure that I relate to whatever it is we're going to talk about. Because I don't want to sit here like, okay, cool, you know, and not really say much. Like, I relate because I went through the same exact thing. It just so happens for me, I recognized it, and I got to a place to where I wanted to feed that to whoever I could, for lack of a better term. So when I'm around Selena, or if I'm around anybody else I know, you know, shout out to everybody who I know and support, from too many names, but shout out to everybody. They know when I speak to them, that's why I speak to them in that manner. Because I've came from being stuck in a sense, dealing with that fear, not feeling like you're good enough. It's been a million times where I feel like my songs was trash, my writing is not good. I know I joke and say I can't sing. I can hold a note, but it was it was a time where I was even scared to do that. And when auto tune became popular, that was my little my little fake way to kind of slide in to try to be able to do it. There's always that fear with everything that you do, but once you identify the fear, understand the fear, and face it straightforward, that right there is the first step. That right there is the first step. I know I done repeated it a million times, but I could go back to the show. My first step was finally just saying, fuck it, let me just do it.
Yep.
And I did it. Now, if you ask me personally, was I happy? Was I happy 100% with the video? No. I'm a perfectionist. Like, no.
Yes. I got to learn that. He is.
But I put it out there. The response was amazing. That's just the best word I could put on it. The response was amazing. And it didn't take until episode 4, I believe. Excuse me if I'm getting the numbers wrong. The episode is how to create a healthy mental. The DMs and the text messages that I received for that video, even though there's no money with that, the responses for that particular video let me know, all right, I'm on the right track. I'm doing what I said I was gonna do, and it's happening in the way I said it was gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, it allowed me to kind of not fully sit back, because we all still have to work. That's something that I preach in every single episode. You have to do the work in order to get the results you want. You have to do the work. So in a sense, I was able to, sit back a little bit and, relieve, because it's being receptive, and it's a great feeling when you're doing something and people are not just supporting it, but they're in tune with it.
Right.
Even if someone might not post it, that's something that I don't pay attention to anymore. Now I pay attention to, all right, yeah, you posted, you supported me, cool.
But did you listen?
Yeah, did you watch it? Did you pay attention to it? Did you take something from it? So when I was receiving those messages, it let my fear calm down a little bit. The fear is still here. Like, I think about the numbers all the time. Shout out to my best friend, because he always tell me, bro, just you don't gotta worry about the numbers. But that's something that I'm getting through. So that's a fear of. We all have fears. I have a fear of this, falling flat and not going to the heights that I wanted to. She has fears with her music and everything that she's pursuing with the t-shirts and just more amazing things. I can't really speak on what I got coming, but I have a huge fear with that. So
so excited.
So it's really all about first identifying and, like she said, accepting that you do have a fear, and understanding that it's okay to have a fear. If you're not scared, what are you doing it for? You mentioned earlier, like when we performed, that you were super nervous.
Nervous as hell.
Listen, I'm gonna be very raw right now. Still to this day, I have stage fright.
Yeah.
I just hide it. See, this is the reaction I get when I say it. I just learned to push through it. I've identified my fears, luckily at a young age, and I really had to make a decision with myself and basically ask myself a question. And the question was, is this what you really want to do? And if my answer is yes, then that means I have to do everything in my power to get over this, because this is the only thing stopping me from doing what I want to do. So, still to this day, somebody asks me to rap, understand my heart is like this. Understand my heart is like that. Understand there's butterflies all in my stomach. I'll do it. I'll rap, and I'll do it, not to toot my own horn, but I'll do it, a little flawlessly and just, smooth through. But I'm super nervous. In the back of my head, I'm always, are they gonna like this? People think this, it's real good. We always have those fears, but once you identify the fears and understand why the fear is there, that was the number one thing with me. Understanding why the fear was there. And after taking the necessary time to understand why it was there, that let me know that fear is not a bad thing.
No, that means you love it. If you weren't scared, do you love it? If you
Exactly.
walked into something with no fear, do you really care about it? Like, you know, like you always like just taking it like and making it personal. You're always afraid to hurt like children, your parents' feelings, or having your parents ashamed of you, right? Because you love them.
Mhm.
It is just you're afraid to mess up in the craft of your talent because you love it. Now, if you didn't have fears, if you weren't scared, do you really love it? Now, there's some people that are confident, but that doesn't mean they don't have fears.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's just one thing. And I had something amazing to say. The people, there we go, people that actually have people like others around them. Because Desmond said, like, he does. He motivates everybody around him. He's been motivating me since 2017. Okay. And that's me being honest. Like, it's just, again, my own personal things going on that I've allowed to deter me. Also, if you have, and this is just something that came to mind, like if you have those people that are around you, if you have many people around you that aren't supporting you, that don't push you to be your best you, please watch this video for me to tell you, I want you to be the greatest you. Like, I know, like, I'm lucky and I thank God every day to have people in my corner. And I know there's some people that don't, so they allow their fears to take over you. Please don't. The day you isolate your fears from pulling you back and you just going forward to do them, you're going to be the best you in the world. If you haven't heard it from anybody else, you know? And like I've allowed that too throughout the process. Somebody I'm around doesn't support me, so I put it on pause. I'm like, you know, I'll wait until they support me to start it back again. And I just look back and I'm like, you idiot. Like, what was you thinking? Like, you should never, if somebody really loves you or supports you, they won't tell you to pause your dreams for them. They'll accommodate and work with you so y'all dreams, y'all both going up together, and it's not just a one-way thing. Like, y'all both got to go up together. It might not be in the same thing, but y'all both should elevate with each other. And those are for people that don't have people to support them, or if you're with somebody that isn't supporting and you're like chaotic, like confused on what to do. Don't stop your dreams to think you're gonna get a better reaction. Do you? If they love you, they'll stick it out. And if they don't, oh, I'm sorry, but then it's just not for you.
Like that.
No, like that's speaking from the heart. Like,
don't stop your dreams just because you think you're gonna get a bigger reaction.
Yeah. Because look, okay, you follow suit for somebody else, and guess what? You still, not to say it like that, but you're still not appreciated. And then you're unhappy. So then it's like, what good use are you to that person or to yourself? You're unhappy because you stopped your dreams for somebody you thought that would help you or support you. Nah, it's either you first or not. So in my family, we say God first. But like for real, like your feelings matter. Whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, your feelings matter, your dreams matter. And if somebody you're with dims that light, you need to find that door. Like, it's just like, and again, it's easier said than done. And it took me a while myself. But it's like, once I did it, it was like, let me tell you, like, like, because it was just like, I feel like a butterfly, like I could finally spread my wings. Like, and again, most of the time it don't be what the person says, you mentally do it. You mentally tell yourself, you know, this will probably be better if I don't do it since they're not really supporting me right now. Nah, screw it. If they don't support it, continue to do it. They'll support you whether you're there, whether you're gone. They'll support you. And sadly, again, most times support comes when you're not here. I'm not that type of person. I'm going to tell y'all I love y'all and rep with y'all while y'all here. Because what use can I do with y'all on the other side and I'm telling y'all I support y'all? So, like, I think that's a main thing. And, you know, going based off of, you'll hear Desmond say Selena. And I know you'll be as shocked as Desmond was the first day he realized my name was not Lena. But I used to do this whole thing where, and this is what society makes of you. You have to distinguish the two. There has to be I'm going to say the whole name. There has to be a moment where you're Selena Selestin. Then there has to be a moment when you're Lena the Artist. So I distinguish the two. When now I'm getting older, it's like, nah, we the same. Like, it's just like, we the same. Like, it's like, if you can't take Lena the Artist with being with Selena Selestin, then you can't. It's the same thing. Like there's no alter ego. It's just a different side. Like that's my government. That's my government. So I go by that. But if you can't take Lena the Artist, then you can't take Selena either. Like that's just it. Like it's that I had to learn. Like we're the same, and yet there's a time and a place. So of course, if I'm at work, I'm Selena. But there's a time where I want to be like, I want to freely say like, nah, I'm Lena. Like I'm Lena the Artist. Like I think that's where I'm at that stage, to not distinguish the two, but be proud of both, and not just say like, this is where the humble side comes in, when you don't promote your work. Like a stranger will meet me and tell me ask me what's my name. I'll say Selena Selestin. And I'll keep it as basic as that. I don't explain my dreams, my goals, my aspirations. I don't do any of that because I've distinguished the two so long. So like when somebody asks me, meeting Selena, oh, what do you do? I'm a program manager. I went to college at St. John's, You're keeping it cute because like you don't want to seem like you're cocky, but you shouldn't. Like you have a goal and a dream. So this is me sharing the Selena Selestin side. I feel like I'm always like posting music, and people probably think I ain't got no feelings or nothing. I'm learning to embrace both and allowing them to merge, like, again, of course, getting a job in this society, you got to distinguish the two. You don't want them to come across anything like, but it's just like, other than that, to people that are trying to get to know you, you gotta I feel like I let them know now, like anybody. Or it always determines who really knows you. Like people will come to me and be like, "Hey, Lena," I'm like, "Okay, you don't know me." Or he'll be like, "Yeah, your name is Lena." I'll be like, "Okay, you don't know me." But like, if somebody's like Selena, I'm like, "Oh shit." Like, and I think it also came with fears as well. Like, if I always felt like I would fail, God forbid, as Lena the Artist, there's always still Selena Selestin. Like, I would just wipe away the whole Lena the Artist thing and just start over and just be like the name I was given. But it was just like
I think that's also like a big part of facing the fear as well.
Yeah. Putting your real name to what you're doing.
Exactly. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. You can kind of scroll down to kind of see, but the rap name that I went with before, with music, it's kind of just something that you're supposed to do. You come up with a name, and then you figure out the image of that name, and you live under that. And I know a lot of people like to promote, oh, this is really me. Let's be real. You create an image, and that's what you give to the world. So for me personally, it got to a point to where I got tired of separating them both. I got extremely tired of separating them both because I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And I know that sounds crazy because I'm not like signed to I wasn't signed to a major label at the time, and it shouldn't be nobody really restricting what what I can do musically. But going back to what Selena said, you have certain people around you. You kind of start catering to their likes, and you start doing things to get a reaction out of them. And if you do something that you wholeheartedly want to do, but their reaction is like, it's gonna make you put that to the side and then write something else till you get the reaction that you're looking for. So a lot of the ideas from the Lovers playlist, a lot of the music that I was able to create, and let me say this, and I also want to say that I'm not even saying this once again because she's here. I want to go back to, I know it was a joke, but I want to go back to when we were talking about the singing. Working with Lena was the first time that I felt comfortable doing that. I've tried it before. The people that was around me,
the reaction.
Yeah, the reaction, and the reaction wasn't more so of nah, that's trash. It was just more so
not for you.
We don't do that. Like it was, we don't do that. I have a song on a solo album called Cruise Control, and I wrote the chorus at 16. The producer I was working with at the time, I brought it to him. Shout out to him. Shut it down. No, we don't do that. I was with a team. Typical Bronx team or whatever. Shut it down. No, we don't do that. So in my adult years, it got to the point of where I'm like, you know what?
Take that chance.
I need to, not only take the chance, but I'm ready to be in a space to where both of them don't have to be different. T.I. said it best, and I might be messing up the words, but I believe he said this. Stop paying attention to, he probably didn't say these words, but I'm going to sum it up. Stop paying attention to the words and titles you think you're supposed to put on people.
Mm-hmm.
T.I. is a father, he's a son, he's a husband, he's a activist, but he's also a gangster.
He never hit that. He never hit that.
So I say that to say, I got tired of separating the two, because that, in a sense, can really, really mess with your mental, because you feel like you have to put on this persona, you have to put on this image, you have to do these things that you would never do, or maybe you don't do as much in your personal life, but this is what you have to do to gain whatever it is you're trying to gain. So, I'm glad that she said that, because I got to a place where I got tired. I dropped the rap name. This is my name. This is me. I can be hard-headed. I got my rough moments. If someone, tries to disrespect, or things might have to go left, but I do have my lovable side. Love writing love music. That's the easiest thing for me to do. I can do that in my head like nothing. I don't know why, but
he does a great job though. Like, yo, what? I'm telling you, hold on. I want y'all to know, like, the lovey-dovey tracks that are all there aren't on me. Don't assume because of gender. Sis did that. I did not. Okay? And my solo on that, he's singing it. By the way, just to let y'all know, that ain't me. Like, he's singing that chorus. Like, and I think, like, basically, to piggyback off of what Des said, like, to distinguish the two, it does get tired. Like, and I'm to the stage where it's like, it is what it is. I will never go out and say, like, change my stage name. I really love Lena the Artist, but what I'm gonna stop doing is hiding it. Like, hiding it to please others or whoever I'm around. Like, nah, I'm Lena the Artist. Like, you could Google me and I'll actually show up, versus you Google Selena Selestin and my LinkedIn shows. Like, not to say it like that, but it's like, that's all that it is to it. Like, I really broke a wall because I had the choice to put my name to that song. And I did. Like, I sat there and I typed in my government name. So now I tried is tied to Selena Selestin. And it's like, I'm glad, like, I'm happy for that. I won't go to Selena Selestin as a stage name. One, it sounds like people will have a hard time of saying it. And two, it's a lot of motherfucking Selenas in this world. So we just gonna stick to Lena the Artist. But it was just, I used to always hide it. Now I put my government to something I love doing. So now when you search my government, oh, she wrote a song. She's a songwriter. She could sing.
Very, very good songwriter, I might
add. I'm like working on it, like, but like, again, like, I know you said something that really stuck well with me, and I don't want to waste time thinking about it. But yeah, like, it was with doubts, with fears and doubts. It's gonna come to me. But overall, like, I think it's mainly with your fear. My fear was, what did the whole name change automatically? Because, in my head, I was just like, if God forbid I fail, it's not tied to Selena Selestin. But it is. And it's me. And I'm that same person. And I'm not going to hide it. Whether I know I'm going to succeed, but if God forbid it's a whole different route, I'm going to own that. The one thing you could do is own that. Like, you don't let your fears stop you. It's not that you failed, you tried. You didn't fail, you tried. It just probably wasn't in your best or best suit for you, but you tried. And I think I'm to the stage now where I don't want to hide that anymore.
And understand that failure is also a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you try, that's the very important thing, right? As long as you try, nothing can ever get done if you don't try. Right. If you don't go within that first step, you're never gonna know. It's a lot of people who live in this world with what ifs in their mind every single day. What if I would have did that? What if it would have worked? What if? What if? What if? As long as you try, that's the most important thing, because you're never gonna know if it's gonna work or not if you don't try. You're never gonna know. I tried to do a backflip last week. It didn't happen. I know that now. I can't do it.
Of all things, I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry. He said, how did that work for you?
You know, we're not gonna speak on certain things on this channel right now. But
oh my gosh, I gotta hear this story.
I tried it. Didn't work out the way I thought it would. But now I know. But if I do the work,
you could get to do it.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes.
Still to this day, and this is something that I used to tell a lot of people that I know. Even if it's a whack 16, write 16 bars every day. I'm not saying you have to use it. I'm not saying it has to go to anything. It's a discipline. It's a mental workout. And it's a creative workout. I've gotten to a point to where I could comfortably say ideas come to me like that. Like, ideas come to me a lot. Not all ideas are, fire ideas, but ideas come to me a lot, to the point to where I might call Lena, or I might call, another friend or whoever, and say, yo, bro, I just thought of it. I think you should do it. I think this will work. And I'm just always trying to figure out a way to, just, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but I'm just always figuring out a way to have my brain work in a positive way. And that's a huge part of even having a healthy mental, and really succeeding in keeping your mental very healthy.
Yes.
Understanding that, going back to what I said earlier, falling in love with the process. And the reason why I want to say that now is because, just using this small example, right? If you write every single day, they say it takes, I don't want to get the number wrong, I think they say it takes about 30 days to create a habit or break a habit. One of those. So let's say 30 days, right? You write 16 lines, 16 bars every single day for a full month, for those full 30 days. By the end of those 30 days, lines are going to come to you faster. You're going to be able to make sense out of certain things, to put them together, to come up with metaphors, and have certain, I don't want to go into crazy music talk, but just having all of those, you'll find out that it becomes easier. Not because, and I don't want this to come off in a bad way, but not because you're just so great and you're amazing, which everybody is, but because you did the work behind it. Practice makes perfect. So even still to this day, I write every single day. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's not, for me personally, it's not 16 a day, just because, I'm doing a lot. Shameless plug, I do have a podcast that link will be down below. And I also have this show, and just a lot of things that I'm doing. But I make sure I write one chorus. And if I can't do a whole verse, I at least spend my day writing something. Every single day, I'll write something. To not only train the mind, but just to keep that space there. Not only do you have to fall in love with the process, but once just falling in love with the process turns into having a true passion, and not being able to separate from the process, it makes you want to do it more. You get more happy doing it. Just hearing about it, just hearing somebody bring it up in a conversation, you can go from, people start talking about what you want, like, it gets you excited. And I don't want to keep, going, I don't want to go too off, but just to kind of bring it all the way back in, there was a fear on both sides with the Lovers Playlist. My fear wasn't really on who I was working with, because I believed in her from, like I said, from that first song I heard. Like, it was fire. And my experiences working with a lot of other people, it was like, listen, man. So my fear was more of finally doing something that I always wanted to do. And even though now you know, at the time, me thinking this way, even though now I'm at a space to where, yeah, I can do everything that I want to do musically, then the doubt started to hit with, okay, well, should I?
Right.
Yeah, this is what I want to do, but should I do it? I had to fall in love with the idea of it and fall in love with the reality of it. And on a daily basis, it got more exciting. I looked forward to the project being done. I would send her melodies with no words.
Nothing. We build melodies around it.
Yeah, and you know, and she would do the same thing, vice versa. Or I would send a chorus to her and tell her like, "Yo, write a chorus, and we'll compare it, and whichever one is better, we'll use it, or we'll somehow combine both." Like, I made sure that when I asked her to do the project, it wasn't just me sending things and her adding on to it. I made sure that it was ours.
Yep.
And still to this day, I say that when people come up to me like, "Yo, your last album," nah, bro, that's a joint album.
Oh,
Like,
I
you gotta
do
make
that.
another person.
I do that all the
You know,
time.
so I made sure that she was a part of everything from beginning to end. And that also helped my fear because for the first time I was in a space to where having somebody that was kind of similar in a way of thinking.
Or like it'll always deter your success.
Exactly. It wasn't too far off. Our personalities are different, but not to the point to where, you know,
We couldn't get
can't,
along,
yeah, like
right?
we can't be around each other. You know, everybody who knows me personally knows I'm just naturally a quiet person. Doesn't really mean I don't have nothing to say. I'm just very, 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 very observant, and I'm kind of
Conservative. It's not bad. Like
yeah,
I don't want you to think like I don't want anybody else to think it's bad either. Like he he's a very chill person though. Like if when you get to know him, he's mad chill, and I'm not just saying that because he's sitting right here. Like he's mad chill. He gives awesome advice. Half the fears he said he had, I wouldn't be able to recognize them myself. Is he a perfectionist? Hell yeah. I've realized that on video shoots and studios, sessions, everything. I've seen it. But again, like it was never that we would clash working together or I felt intimidated. It was very it was a common ground. It was always dope. I can't wait. Hopefully we get back to it. I'm pushing it. But it's like it most of the time, like how Des said, like we normally run into other artists that share our talents and traits and we're intimidated automatically. It shouldn't be at least on your mental, it shouldn't be like that. And like again, like having fears and taking chances, I believe that'll help a lot with accomplishing your fear. One thing I had, and we're gonna stay on like with the lovers playlist was I was so fearful of singing that I became this rapper temporarily. Like, you know, like, and it's true, like when you hear most of the lovers playlist, you're like, okay, she raps? No. It was just a fear of taking the chance of actually singing. Like, I believed I couldn't, so I didn't. And now it's to the point where you just understand more. Like he tried to do a backflip and realized it didn't work. But it's just like I've realized certain things. As much as I might like it on certain occasions, it's dope. I'm not even gonna clown myself, but rapping isn't it. It would have to be a certain song and the mood and the vibe to match it. But just to walk in and say I'm a rapper, I wouldn't do it because
the lovers playlist change your life. Just play that. Just press play. It's all I'm saying. Just press play.
But it all depends. He started it. I just like now we're gonna have a whole argument though. But he started it. Okay, so it's just like I know I could do it, but would I consider myself as that? No. So I felt comfortable, and that's where the whole "do you love it" thing came in. Rapping was easy. You tell me to rap on stage, I'm doing it. You tell me to rap on the mic, I'm doing it. You tell me to sing, I'm like, so it's not that I won't say I can't do it, and I'm not gonna say I'm bad at it, but I'm just trying to say like my heart is really with singing, and I think my fears allowed me to make myself some rapper, but I know that that's really not my expertise. Like that doesn't. It makes me happy that when I hear it, like oh, I'm like oh that should sound nice. But it's like what makes me happy was like how Desmond said, like when you get feedback, he was talking about his podcast, but I've actually heard people like all BS aside. Granted, though, like if she's my relative, my sister plays I Try probably 2 to 5 times a week.
She's super supportive.
And
super
and I'm so thankful. But you know what's even better? Not just because she supported, it's because she really felt that track. I've had, and this is how you know, and this is why I felt like, okay, Selena, you can sing and you should stick to it. I've rapped on songs, you know, my sister has those songs, but the songs I'm singing on, she will really play on repeat. And again, like it's all about different sounds where you shouldn't pull back because somebody else might not be okay with it. You have to be confident in whatever you do. I'm going to be confident in rapping. I'm going to be confident in singing. And if it's bad, you know, I would always want somebody to tell me, don't sugarcoat shit. But it's like, I also know, like, I've allowed my fear to push me more so to rapping than to singing just because of what I was comfortable with. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like, you have to find your confidence. You have to not let your doubts, others that you might have close to you, somebody you might be with, you can't allow that to deter you. Because then years later, you're going to sit back and say what I could have and should have, would have done. Because me at 24, I'm looking back at me at like 16, like, damn, should have did that and did this and followed through with that. But it's like, I only know what I could do now and what I know what I can't repeat. And like now it's like you might catch me rapping on a track, okay, play Change Your Life. But it's just like I've also have a track out, and this is me being honest. Like my All I Want track is nice, but I tried is I feel more comfortable with that. You know, like so it's like you know, but sometimes we allow our fears to get in the way of it. Like he has videos he said he will never share. Or somebody might write songs and they have it still saved in their laptop just because of fear. They fear like nobody's gonna like this, but take that chance. That shit might be a hit. Then you know they spinning that on like 105, one on 97. Like you never know, and you won't know until you take that chance. And I think like again, I've allowed my fears to stem from myself solely, my doubts, my responses that I wanted from other people on certain times. Like I couldn't allow that. Yeah, I've allowed my fear to even push away the creative side of me. Like I'll introduce me as Selena before I'd introduce me as Lena's ass backwards. When I love doing what Lena the Artist does, and it's like I'm not ashamed. I'm just scared of somebody's response. You can't. You gotta really take the chance, break that wall, and just be out there. That's honestly what I could say, like, with everything. Not just music, if you're doing anything. You can't allow the next person or somebody that's close to you to deter you if you feel like you got it. You gotta go with it.
Listen, man. One of the reasons why I love doing this show is because the conversation can go on and on. And I hope that when the video does end, that you guys watching, I hope that you take a lot from what she's saying. From she said she dropped a lot of gems today. I know for some people when they have certain things, they want to make sure that it's an engaging thing. The reason why when I do these quote unquote sessions, I make it a point to make sure whoever I'm speaking with does most of the talking, because the point is to let you guys know that not only are we both here through experience, but that it's all about relating. And once you understand that, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. No one's story is unique. There's always somebody who can relate and who has been through everything you've been through. So before I even, stop this, first and foremost, I want to thank you for doing the show, for agreeing to do it and speaking about everything you spoke about. Because I know there's a lot of people that's going to be able to take away so many things from this episode and just learn from it. Fear is a very, very big, common thing, and it's around. Once you identify your personal fears, accept your personal fear, and understand that it's always going to be around. Fear is always going to be around, but that's the reason you should have to do what it is you're trying to do in life. That should be a part of whatever it is that's pushing you to accomplish your goals and your dreams. Fear is always going to be around with anything that we do. When you're born, whether people want to take this for reality or not, when you're born, right? Imagine, and I know I can't imagine, but you're in this you're in this closed space for 9 months, right? And then you come out into the world.
Scared. That's why the first thing you do is cry.
You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening. So you have that where someone's helping you with that fear, right? They're bringing the baby out and introducing it to the world. Then you have to walk. You have to run. You have to talk. You have to be able to do all of these things. But if you really sit down and think about it, we like to let it leave our mind because, a lot of us don't have memories of. I think my earliest memory is from 2 years old. I don't really remember anything too far before 2. But if you take time to sit and just think about it from an analytical sense. You're born into this world with no ability to do anything besides cry, eat, and use the bathroom. You grow and you improve. You're able to walk, you're able to run, you're able to talk, you're able to use the bathroom by yourself. You get older, you're an adult now, you're in the real world, and you're doing all of these things. If you sit down and really think about everything that you've done in your life, then I promise you at this moment, if you're doing that, I promise you at this moment, you're going to sit there like, damn, I really done came far. Fear's always going to be around. Identify it, accept it, embrace it, and become one with the fear. Understand it's going to be a very, very big part as to why you achieve the things that you want to achieve. And that's the main goal for this. That's the main reason why I even wanted to come on here and create something talking about mental health and having a healthy mental. For a lot of people watching, they might, dip in and out and not stay for the full conversation. So I can see why sometimes it might seem like there's no direct connect, but there's always a direct connect to having a healthy mental. Why? Because your mind and your brain goes with you everywhere. That's the one thing that you cannot separate. You cannot separate your brain and you can't separate your mind from traveling with and dealing with everything that you deal with. The same, and I've repeated this before, the same way you go to the gym and you work for the body you want, the same way you eat whatever it is you need to eat to have, a healthy, just all around health when it comes to, the body, the inside of the body, and having healthy organs and, all of that. You do what you're supposed to do. So why would you allow yourself to constantly sit and go through all these doubts, go through all these fears? I've been through it. I've dealt with it. And I had to get to a point to where I was exhausted. I didn't want to deal with it no more. I didn't want to look at it from a perspective of, I wish this shit would stop. I didn't want to think that way no more. So I started embracing it. I started being a realist and realizing that these things is not going to leave. There's certain things that you don't have a control over. So you're kind of forced to embrace it. But once you're forced to embrace it, you learn that, damn, man, I done took so long. I should have been did this. Like, what? Will Smith. Listen, I'm afraid of heights. I am afraid of heights. And my fear of heights is weird. Like, I can be high, but I just can't look down. Somebody try to fight me on the roof, I'm letting you know right now, you got it. You can rob me, do whatever you want. The minute we get on the ground, I got you. But on the roof, I can't do it. Will Smith jumped out of a plane. And that's actually something I want to do. Because when it comes to that particular thing, I'm tired of
being scared.
Yeah, and I'm tired of saying that. Like, I'm scared of heights. I had to identify it, and now at this age, I know where that fear came from. Mm-hmm. And now the next step is overcoming it. And this is something that my mom's asked me, and I've shut it down. People have asked me, and I've always shut it down and said, you're crazy, I'm never doing it. I'm not doing bungee jumping. I'm not skydiving. Listen, I'm about to be 30 years old. I have never been on a crazy roller coaster. I think I've been on a little baby one. Listen, heights I don't do. But you have to face your fears. You have to identify it. You have to rush the fear.
Mm-hmm.
You have to rush the fear the same way those bulls rush those red whatever things. I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, like, the same way they rush that, you have to go toe to toe with your fear and understand that your fear is actually your partner instead of your enemy.
Yes.
There was a lot of things said on today's episode, man. I think honestly, this was a great episode.
Yeah. Honestly, I really do. I feel like, you know, a lot of things were addressed as far as fears and, like, you know, different forms. Mm-hmm. Again, like, even like how you just mentioned with heights, my mom's afraid of heights and drives on bridges. But, like, it's just like how you said, like, you're supposed to be one with it. What is she not mm-hmm. supposed to drive because she's afraid of heights? Like, so overall, like, Desmond said his fear of mine was just always taking the chance. And, like, I've never taken a chance until, like, more so recently. Because of my fears. Whether you do music, whether you do anything, it doesn't have to be music. Always mm-hmm. take the chance. If it's not jeopardizing your health, your safety, or anything, and it's just your fears, like your doubts, jump at it. Jump straight into it. Because then you're just going to look back and say you wish you could have, and you didn't. And, like, you don't want that. You know, like, you always want to know you tried your best, you did your best, and then it'll either grow, or if it doesn't, but you know you tried, you did it. Don't let your fears overpower you. Again, I'm here to say I didn't let mine, but it's been so many years. Who knows what opportunities I could have possibly potentially had in the past. But, you know, a positive mental health as well comes from self-confidence, believe in yourself, even if you feel like it's, excuse my language, it's shitty. Keep working. Like Desmond said, he'll write a verse or a chorus every day. If he can't write a verse, like, start small, and because you can always perfect it. Don't let your doubts overpower you. Don't let your fears get the best of you. Acknowledge it. Be one with it. Overcome it. And it is possible. Mine was really being, like, indulging in music and staying on it. I used to always shy from it and hide from it any which way possible. Now it's just like, nah, I'm that. I'm with it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, even if, God forbid, I fall flat on my face, I know I took that chance. Take it. Don't allow, I know I can only imagine the thoughts that run through people's head. Don't let that get the best of you. Start first on, like, you always got to love you first before you look for somebody else to love you. Love you first, whether it's yourself, whether it's your talent, love it first. Everybody else's opinions and their responses will come after. You got to love it first. Like how Desmond said again, like, you get excited just by talking about it or, like, it being brought up. Like, love you, yourself, anything you do, your craft first. Everybody else's opinion and stuff will come after. Whether it's good, bad, whether you like it, you love it, you hate it, you gotta love it. And that's the main thing. That's what helped me overcome my fears. Me loving what I do. I know that I love it. Whether my best friend or somebody else might not like it, I love it. So it's like, with time, they'll see I love it to love it. But I can't stop me from doing it because they don't. You gotta do it first.
Well said, man. Listen, guys, this was another episode of The Room. Having a healthy mind is priority. Before we get out of here, do not forget Diamond Design, anti-social.
Yes.
Give me more than 6 feet.
Yeah,
this
is mine too. So this is all diamondized designs.
Hold on, let me grab this real quick.
Ooh, yes, the unlimited, the exclusive. He got it.
She pulled over the early.
I had to.
Appreciate it, man.
There we go. That's the Be Humble and Hustle tees. Diamondizeddesign.com. Diamondized Designs on IG. I'm trying to make them all for y'all. But that's the Be Humble and Hustle one. He has on the anti-social one. This is just my regular name one. I ain't selling these unless you ask. Okay? But no, yeah, Diamondized Designs. Tell me, give me an input, like something. Just tell me. I like all input.
One thing I want to say on camera, and I've told her this before, I'm going to say this on camera. I'm proud of you. Everything that you're doing. Just to watch the growth from when we met to where you are now. Like, I'm proud of you, real talk. This episode was officially sponsored by Diamond Design. Everything will be down below as far as the link to her website, as well as her Lena The Artist on Instagram, and also the Diamond Design Instagram. It will be down below in the description box. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the conversation. If you have any questions, or even if you have suggestions of topics that you want me to talk about, or even some things that you want to figure out, how does it tie in with mental health, having a healthy mental, everything that you need as far as where to send that information will be down below. I do have an exclusive email for this now. I'm getting more and more professional. I'm trying. So you guys have an email to send that to, man. Once again, I want to thank Selena Selestin. I said it right?
Yes.
Selena Selestin, aka Lena The Artist, man. Somebody that I'm glad I can call a sister. At this point in time in my life, man. This was a great episode, man. Anything you want to say before we officially get out of here?
No, guys, just thank you. You could follow me. Everything will be down below. You could just give him input. I love the episodes. I'm not just saying it because I'm here. I watched them. They all gave me different, they're all insightful. Even his other podcast, They Fired Us, it's all insightful. It's different perspectives. You'd be surprised. So just please, I appreciate it. He's he's sitting here praising me. I don't think he understands the greatness he does, what he's been doing. I need y'all to let him know too, okay? So yes, like, share, comment, subscribe on everything, because it's really dope content. And I'm proud of him. Okay? I've seen him from his September albums on Soundtrack, okay, 3 years ago. So yes, he's finally doing his podcast. And again, it's been on his mind for a really long time. So I'm really glad, and I pray he doesn't let his fears or anything stop him, because he got it.
Appreciate that, man. This was an official episode of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority. This was my guest, Selena, aka Lena The Artist. I'm Desmond Bonet. Hope you guys tune in next week for another official episode. And also stay tuned to September 9th. I know it falls on a Wednesday, so it's not my usual, Sunday schedule. But that is my birthday, and I have a special episode that I'm going to be releasing that day, man. So stay tuned. I appreciate you guys, and come back next week, man. The Room.